sparkles like what a light, source of life and beauty. She takes care, protects you and me. When all over her dazzling mountain peaks, the majesty of ages speaks. So how have we returned her love? By poisoning the skies above, burning down her marvelous trees, and pouring waste into her seas. So let's understand and face our acts. We destroy our earth, that's a fact. Can't we bring back a smile on earth? Help her rebirth.
Biodiversity.
Look at that.
Huh? What?
Wow.
Huh.
Well, I would say that it looks like we've got something interesting here. A beautiful echinoderm. Over to you, Igor. Found anything interesting, kids?
Yeah, sure. A really interesting article about plankton farming in New Zealand.
Good, good.
He's gone. Click back on it.
I'm gonna beat my record.
Plankton farming, huh?
Oh! Oh, great! I just lost because of you.
Well, so what?
Well, it doesn't really matter because, well, it's just a game.
Listen up. An undersea expedition has discovered 6 new species of invertebrates at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean.
Very good news. But you know that there are still millions and millions of species to be discovered.
That many?
Yeah, it's called biodiversity. We can talk about it if you want, but let's go next door. We'll take a short break.
Sure. All right, Maestro.
We've cataloged and named almost all the mammals, all the birds, and the reptiles that populate the planet. But for insects, mollusks, and fungi, there's still a lot to do. And let's not even talk about the viruses and bacteria.
Huh? What do you mean? You mean even on me?
Oh, yes, tens of thousands of them. There really isn't any reason to panic. These little organisms are useful. They eat our dead skin, for instance.
But are there species that do nothing?
No. They all have a role to play in the great circle of life. The herbivores eat the plants, and they are in turn eaten by the carnivores, which end up on our plates.
So what eats the humans then?
I know that. Dinosaurs eat people, just like in that movie with the raptors.
Well, that is just the movies. In reality, humans and dinosaurs didn't live at the same time.
Luckily for the dinosaurs, because if that had been there, they wouldn't have lasted long. Because we are stronger and much smarter.
Oh, you think so?
Well, sure, it's obvious.
Well, I think you should show us.
Well then, what are you waiting for?
Okay, I'm going. I'm on my way. Just watch. Phew, that was real close.
Meganura, they're harmless.
They may be harmless, but they're giving me a headache. Oh, yeah, way to go. So then who's the daddy, eh? Are you vegetarian? It's a vegetarian! Whoa!
I wouldn't hang around too long out there, you know.
So you see, the dinosaurs were no pushover.
Right! No pushover! No pushover!
But that didn't stop them dying out.
Because of a meteorite, wasn't it?
Probably, but there are various theories such as climate change, increased volcanic activity, or more likely an asteroid that hit the Earth. Whatever happened, the Earth went through one of the greatest mass extinctions of species in its history. But then, who knows what tomorrow will bring?
What do you mean, Maestro?
Well, the great cycle of life is under threat again. But this time, the meteorite is us. That's right, humanity itself.
So, is it true that the living world is in danger again?
Well, since humanity has existed, many things have changed. As long as our ancestors were hunter-gatherers, they took only what they needed and traveled with the game. All that changed in the Neolithic period. They started to protect themselves from predators, and also domesticated many species, selecting the best specimens.
Mommy, I've seen that the black cows are giving us more milk.
But the meat from the white cows is much more tender.
They chose certain breeds and crossbred them. The same happened with plants. They searched for the ones that would grow best and provide the greatest yield.
Look here. The ears are larger on this kind, but the stems break before harvesting. See?
Whereas these stems are short, solid, but the ear is smaller.
And if we cross them?
But the problem you have when you standardize species is you impoverish their gene pool. And so this makes them more vulnerable to things like viruses and parasites. Nowadays, more than half the world's population relies on wheat, corn, and rice production just to survive. Can you imagine what would happen if a disease were to eradicate those cereals?
Disaster!
Oh, yes, absolutely. It would be a complete disaster with famine for millions of people. Nature needs diversity. Humans need diversity. Did you know that 80% of our drugs to treat cancer, heart disease, and many other conditions use active ingredients derived from plants? Then there's the breadfruit tree, recommended for rheumatic pain, and the hibiscus, rich in vitamin C. And what about the yerba mate with its health properties? Nature is a fantastic treasure trove. Look at the sea. It provides us with so many good things, yet we harm it, pollute it. We overexploit it by fishing excessively. Then there are the tropical forests with their 50,000 species of trees and millions of plants and animals that we hardly know. We're cutting them down, and when you realize a single tropical tree can shelter hundreds of species of Coleoptera, imagine all the fauna that's endangered when one of them dies.
They're only insects. It's not as bad as, like the disappearance of a whale or an elephant.
No, you're wrong there. In the cycle of life, the smallest animals aren't necessarily the least useful.
Yeah, they carry pollen.
And they clean.
They fertilize the ground.
But what about the ones that eat crops then?
Bugs like that need pesticides to wipe them out.
But you see, the problem with pesticides is that they don't just wipe out the things we want to eliminate. They can also do untold damage to humans as they can enter the food chain. We have to remember that the destruction of a single species, be it animal or plant, is an irreparable loss. We just managed to save the bison and oryx by reintroducing them into their natural environment. These two are saved, but how many others have been sacrificed because of our greed or stupidity? The aurochs vanished in the 17th century. The North Atlantic great auk died out in the middle of the 19th century. The Tasmanian wolf disappeared in 1937. And the Mauritian dodo was hunted to extinction for its meat and eggs. Countless species have been wiped out like this over 4 centuries. And it's been predicted that over the years to come, the figure could rise to 30,000 extinctions a year.
That's almost 100 a day. 3 million a century.
What are the most endangered species, Maestro?
Oh, there are so many. But we could mention the rhinoceros, whose horn is prized in the Far East, sea turtles, the Californian condor, the Bengal tiger, the gorilla, the panda, and of course, even the elephant. Not to mention certain dolphins and sharks, too.
And we just sit here twiddling our thumbs. We really need to do something about it, Maestro.
Well, actually, I was thinking of sending you to the Congo. Some of you already know the country. It's home to some of our closest cousins, mountain gorillas. And there's a lot we can learn from them. Sadly, they're hunted for their meat or exported as an exotic luxury. What a disgrace.
When do we leave, Maestro?
Well, right away if you want. Our transportation is ready.
Well, you look really weird wrapped up like that, you know.
Hey, it's only to keep the mosquitoes off.
You should wear one. Nah, 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 nah.
Thanks, but no thanks, guys. No one ever died from looking stupid, but we'd rather not take the chance.
Whatever.
So, how do you plan to find the gorillas?
With this, a gift from Maestro. Okay. Let's go.
Oh, look at that!
It's so beautiful. What do these bugs eat when they're not here?
They fast, waiting for a meal like you.
Shush. Quiet, please. Unless I'm mistaken, the gorillas are very close.
It's a display of intimidation. Baby gorillas are the poacher's favorite prize. We don't mean you any harm. Not you or your family. Ow. Oh, 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 oh.
Talking gorillas, huh? This is pure genius.
Yeah, they'll never forget this.
They're so cute, and their fur is so soft.
Yeah, but be careful, though. He could take your head off with one swipe if he felt like it.
Hey, calm down, big guy. What's wrong with them?
I think they've sensed something. I think it'd be a good idea if we hit too. Talk of the devil, poachers.
What should we do? Follow them?
Sure. But shh.
Has anyone seen Grimbo or Buster?
They're probably monkeying around somewhere.
Oh, we'll worry about them, but later.
Hey, you see what I see? We'll make a fortune off those two.
Are they dead?
Nope, just knocked out. The poachers must want to sell them.
Not if we stop them.
Come on.
I'll take the first watch.
Are we ready?
Let's be patient.
Come on, kitty, kitty. Move it.
Come on, out you come.
What? What's happening?
Come see this.
Huh? Well, that's incredible.
You know me.
And I know that voice. Fancy dress, eh?
Well, we were just, I bet this is one of your ideas, Grimbo.
Hey, we were only having a little fun, you know. Well, at least with you two around, one thing that isn't endangered is stupidity.
Isn't there a better way of protecting the gorillas of the Congo, Maestro?
Well, the best way is what they've done in Rwanda. Gorillas have become the emblem of that country.
And I heard they turned 10% of their land into national parks.
That's right. And the rest of the world would do well to follow their example. Protected areas only cover an estimated 3% of the world's total surface. We must increase the number of reserves on land and at sea.
That's right. We must support the efforts of countries trying to protect nature like that.
But there are other solutions. What do you think about a new trip? Very well, then. I'll take you to visit a Noah's Ark of a rather different kind. These are the Royal Botanic Gardens at Kew, England. They're also known as the Last Chance Gardens.
Why's that?
You'll see. Follow me. They preserve endangered plant species here. That's why earlier I called it a Noah's Ark.
It's so beautiful.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Come on, they're only plants. Birdie, birdie. Oh, ow, ow,
Plastic.
I knew that.
Of course you did.
Oh, what's this plant?
Equium wildpreti, a plant from the Canary Islands we introduced there when it had practically disappeared.
And what about that one? Looks like a pop bottle. Yeah.
What isn't so funny is that there are only 8 of those trees left in the entire world.
How did that happen?
Very simple. The introduction of rabbits in the Mascarene Islands. The Toro Miro, the legendary tree of Easter Island. In 1962, there was just one Toro Miro left at the bottom of a crater. Once again, the problem was due to animals being introduced to the island by humans.
The Canaries, Easter Island, the Mascarenes, it's always islands.
Yes, because the balance of nature is more fragile there. And more often than not, imported species destroy native ones.
On Reunion Island, they call these kind of things plant pests. The giant bramble is wreaking havoc there. Take a listen to our colleague from the Reunion Island National Park.
The giant bramble destroyed the tamarind forest that was here. It was a terrible thing.
Is there no way to control it?
Yep, just one, with a machete.
Once the pest's been eradicated, the original forest can start to recover, but only after tremendous effort.
Is it complicated to reintroduce a plant species?
Yes, it's difficult and costly because nature doesn't like going back on its tracks.
How many plants do you have here?
There's millions, and thanks to our contributors, 45,000 new species are added each year from their worldwide travels.
Aha, globe-trotting botanist. A fine occupation. But you know, such scientist explorers were the true heroes of the age of great discoveries. It took courage and tenacity to find and bring back such exotic plants as the hortensia, dahlia, and cocoa plant. No, absolutely not. That water's for my plant. No, stop that.
You okay, Maestro?
Oh, yeah. Excuse me, I was miles away. Ah, the thrill of high adventure. You get carried away, you know.
So are all your findings stored here then?
No, the majority of seeds are actually stockpiled in special reserves or banks. So once preserved, it will be possible to plant and grow them in 200 or even 300 years. In the Philippines, there's a specialized rice bank. There's a bank in Mexico for corn. And in Peru, they have actually stored 5,000 different varieties of potato in safes.
What about animals, Maestro?
Well, gene banks have also been set up where biologists preserve embryos and cells. So we can save a good number of species currently under threat of extinction.
Yeah, but what good is that if at the same time
Go on, Munya.
we destroy their natural habitats?
Oh, you're absolutely right, Munya. Humanity has to learn how to live with nature and not against it.
See the mother who gave us birth, our faithful guide and friend, the earth. Look to her skies, so dear and so bright, that warm our hearts and bring us light. What a light!